What's going on, YouTube? It's been a little while. I haven't forgot about y'all. I ended up not being able to post any videos because we've had some really crazy weather here in Houston recently, and you know, the roads were icy and stuff like that, and I had actually a couple track rentals lined out with 2 different tracks to take Martha to and make some videos, but you know, the weather ended up coming in and everybody had their rentals canceled and we couldn't take the car nowhere. So I ended up actually kind of taking matters into my own hands and did some pulls on Martha in the street just to make sure it was all good, and you know, everything seemed right after we did the dyno runs. And I'll drop a video right here of what we were doing with it, but we ran into an issue with the car. It wouldn't rev past 8,000 RPMs. It would sound like it hit a rev limiter, and it's nothing to do with the bottom end of the motor. It's definitely something to do with the top end. As I've said before, the cylinder heads on that motor are used, like used. They've got 300 passes on them, like no joking about that. And it keeps losing the cam signal to the Holly, so the Holly needs to cam in the crank to sync the RPM signals, and you know, for everything to run right, and it's losing the cam signal, so right at 8,000 RPM every single time. And so I ended up taking the car over to my boy Trap. He ended up doing a full rewire. He rewired the car headlight to taillight, all the Holly stuff, all the traction control stuff, everything. And he did his own little mil-spec wiring on it, which he did a really killer job. And we're finally on the way to go pick it up, and we'll end up seeing, you know, I'll probably pick this back up whenever I get in the car, and I'll go do a pull to make sure it revs past 8,000 RPM. If that's the case, we're gonna leave the car at Rudy's at Texas Tires and Parts. He does all the alignments on the car, and the car will be ready to go for a no prep event at Evadale Raceway. I believe it's February 15th and 16th or something like that. 2-day event. They're having a True Street class. We're gonna go out and support my boy Gary if everything's fixed. If it's not, if it's still having the issues, then I'm gonna have to pull that motor back out and see what is going on in those cylinder heads and try to get this thing fixed before Texas 2K, because Texas 2K is right around the corner. And yeah, so I will I'll pick this right back up whenever I get to Traps, pick up the car, and see if it revs past 8,000 RPM. So I'll see y'all here in a second. All right, so it is the next day. I went and picked up Martha. She is done. She's fully rewired, and it still will not rev past 8,000 RPM. So I know for sure it is not the wiring. It wasn't my wiring that was in the car. It's not Trap's wiring. I trust his wiring over anybody else's, and so now I know the wiring is not the issue. I'm going to try replacing the Holly Dominator with a spare one that I have, just to make sure that that is not the issue or causing weird issues, if there's something wrong with the ECU itself. And if that doesn't fix it, then I think I'm going to go ahead and pull that motor out and you know, take it apart and probably either put another set of cylinder heads on it so that I can still run the Texas Speed bottom end, and I'm sure it'll be fine after that. But you know, I'll film that in another video tomorrow of trying to figure out what's going on with it, and you know, I'll update you guys on that whenever I have that. But in other news, I got a new car, and it's pretty sick. Now you've seen the clips. This is my new to me 1990 Toyota Cressida. I know it sounds weird, but it's actually a really killer car. I bought it from a guy named Derek. He actually built this whole car in his 3-car garage. So whenever I show you some of these things, just keep that in mind. This guy built this whole car in his garage, and he did some killer work on it. Super happy that I got to purchase this car. But the car's actually been on Hoonigan at another show called the GT Challenge. Dio Shihara drove this car and stuff like that. And so the car's actually got a really cool history. Some of you may recognize it if you pay attention in the drift scene. But yeah, so Derek pretty much put a built 2JZ bottom end in this car with a 1J head with VVTi. He did the full mil-spec wiring in this car himself. Every line is AN. I mean, the guy freaking put titanium studs and nuts for the exhaust manifold. But yeah, as you can see, this car is, you know, just in the engine bay is killer. The dude did an amazing job for being in his garage. I mean, even if this was in a shop, it'd still be an amazing job. I mean, there's really nothing much that I would change on it. So I'll show you the inside now. It's got Sparco seats in the front. I'm a race tech guy, but the Sparco ones are pretty nice too. A Link ECU to control the motor and everything, and a actual FD legal cage throughout this whole car. But yeah, even in the rear of this thing, he's got a whole firewall because it's got a rear mounted fuel cell. Actually, it's got a radium fuel cell that you saw in the clip with 4 525 liter fuel pumps. So this thing's got more fuel pump than I put in a lot of Mustangs that make 1500 horsepower. So it's definitely got enough fuel system, but it has a set of 1050cc injectors, which those on the inline 6s usually tap out around 600 wheel, and that is actually what this car makes, 600 wheel horsepower. So it's about, I think it's 2,800, 2,900 pounds, somewhere around there. So really light for a 4-door. It's really light, and it makes a lot of power. It's a lot of fun. And it's actually got a CD09 trans in it, so I believe that's the same one that comes in like a 350Z or 370Z or something like that. Could be wrong, but comes in one of those cars. So really reliable trans, killer clutch, and he actually put a rear mount radiator in this thing too, with all the ducting, flexing windows. It's got all the coilover suspension adjustments right there, and you know, everything on this car he thought it through and did a really nice job on it. And so basically the plans are with this thing, so on February 11th we're going to go to an event at Houston Police Academy with this car, with Rudy from Texas Tires and Parts, Houston Street Monsters with his, I believe it's a G37 drift car that he got, and Midnight Performance with his, you know, Nissan 370Z. And we're all going to go out there and see what we can do. We're going to have to, you know, hit the figure 8 track, make sure we can do figure 8s properly, and then we can, you know, go ahead and head out on the track if we feel comfortable. And I doubt we'll do any tandeming or anything like that, but I've already got all the GoPro setups ready for it. I'm beyond excited for this thing. I've been driving this car to work, and you know, just around town, and it's a killer car. It's whenever he built this thing, he was telling me he didn't really ever drive it on the street. He didn't really build it for that. He built it just to drift, but it is actually a really nice street car. It does everything. It doesn't overheat. It actually gets really good gas mileage if you're not getting on it, of course. But yeah, so I've been kind of daily in this thing, driving it around, having fun with it. I'll drop a clip of me doing a pull in it, and yeah, man. So February 11th, you'll be seeing another video on this car where we actually take it out to go drifting and with everybody else, and it's going to be a killer video. But on that one, I appreciate you guys sticking around. I know it's been like a month since we've uploaded a video, but the weather, like I said, has been bad, and Martha content is coming up. I got to figure out what is wrong with her, but we'll figure it out, and we'll film some more videos here coming up soon. So appreciate you guys for sticking around. Hope you like the car. There's gonna be a lot more coming. We got other projects too, and yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.